The steam curled around me as the hot water beat down, washing away the exhaustion of a long day. Showers were my sanctuary, the only place I felt like I could be alone, where the noise of the world faded and my thoughts were mine alone. That evening, I never imagined that a single knock on the bathroom door, followed by an accidental intrusion, would change the rhythm of my family forever. My name is Emily Carter. I was 17 then, a high school senior who thought I knew everything about life. My brother, Daniel, was 19, a freshman in college who had just returned home for the weekend. We'd always been close, but we were also siblings, which meant there were arguments, rivalries, and plenty of slammed doors in our history. That night, I had just finished rinsing the shampoo from my hair when the door creaked open. I froze, panic racing through me. "Hey, oh my God, sorry." Daniel's voice stammered through the thick cloud of steam, and before I could react, the door slammed shut again. My heart pounded in my chest. My face burned hotter than the shower water. It was humiliating, even though nothing had really happened. He hadn't meant to walk in. Still, the embarrassment wrapped around me like a suffocating blanket. When I stepped out of the bathroom, towel wrapped tightly around me, I could hear him in the hallway. "Emily, I'm so sorry. I swear I didn't know you were in there," he said, his voice urgent, full of guilt. I didn't reply. I just shut my bedroom door and leaned against it, breathing hard, trying to calm down. But something strange had shifted. That accident, a mistake that could have just been brushed off, stirred up emotions in both of us that neither of us expected. The next morning at breakfast, Daniel couldn't even look me in the eye. Mom chatted cheerfully about her garden, Dad buried himself in the newspaper, and I quietly nibbled my toast, stealing occasional glances at my brother. He looked different. Or maybe it was me who had changed. Later that day, he found me in the backyard. "Emily, please don't hate me," he said softly, leaning against the porch railing. "I don't hate you," I replied, crossing my arms. "It was just awkward." "Awkward is an understatement," he muttered, rubbing the back of his neck. Then he sighed. "I just don't want this to ruin things between us. You're my sister. You're one of the few people I can actually talk to." That surprised me. Daniel was always the confident one, the golden boy of our family. But in that moment, he looked vulnerable, like he was carrying weight I hadn't seen before. I tilted my head. "Talk to me? About what?" And that's when everything began to unfold. Daniel confessed that college hadn't been what he expected. He was struggling with grades, with loneliness, with pressure to live up to everyone's expectations. He'd come home that weekend not just for a break, but because he felt like he was falling apart. I listened. For the first time, I saw my brother not as the perfect son, but as a person who needed someone. And somehow, that embarrassing moment in the bathroom opened the door for honesty between us. Over the next few weeks, things shifted. Daniel and I started talking more, late-night conversations in the kitchen, walks around the neighborhood, shared laughter over silly memories. The tension from that awkward moment melted into something else, a deeper bond. But not everyone understood. One evening, Mom noticed how often we were together and raised an eyebrow. "You two have gotten close lately," she said casually, but her tone carried curiosity. "Is that a bad thing?" I asked. "Of course not," Mom replied with a smile. "I'm glad you're getting along. It's just different." Different. That word echoed in my mind. Yes, things were different, but in a good way. Then came the night Daniel broke down. It was past midnight when I heard a knock on my door. He stood there, shoulders slumped, eyes red. "Can I talk to you?" he whispered. I let him in, and he sat at the edge of my bed, his hands trembling. "Emily, I don't think I can do this anymore," he admitted. "College, life, everything. I feel like I'm failing, and I don't want to disappoint Mom and Dad." My chest tightened. Seeing him like that broke something inside me. Without thinking, I reached for his hand. "You don't have to carry this alone," I said. "You're not failing. You're human. And I'll be here, no matter what." That was the turning point. From then on, we became each other's anchors. When he doubted himself, I reminded him of his strengths. When I felt overwhelmed by senior year pressures, he reminded me that I was capable. Our relationship transformed from the typical sibling rivalry into a partnership built on trust and vulnerability. But the world outside didn't always see it that way. Rumors started at school. A friend of mine mentioned she saw me and Daniel walking home together, deep in conversation. "You two are like, weirdly close now," she said, half joking. I bristled. "He's my brother." "Yeah, but still," she teased. That bothered me. It made me realize how easily people could misunderstand something pure, something real. But it didn't matter what others thought. What mattered was that, for the first time, my brother and I truly understood each other. Months passed. Daniel found his footing in college again, partly because he knew he had someone back home who believed in him. I learned to see him not just as my sibling, but as a person with struggles, strengths, and flaws. One summer evening, as the fireflies danced across the yard, he turned to me and said, "You know, Emily, that day I walked into the bathroom, I thought it was the worst mistake of my life. But now I think it was the beginning of something we both needed." I laughed, shaking my head. "Yeah, well, let's not repeat it." We both laughed, but behind the humor was truth. That awkward moment had cracked open the wall between us, forcing us to see each other in a new light. It had changed everything. Years later, when people ask me how I became so close to my brother, I never tell them about the shower incident. Some stories are too complicated to explain. But I do tell them this: sometimes life throws the strangest, most uncomfortable moments at us. And if we're open to it, those moments can transform into the foundations of love, trust, and family. That's what happened to me and Daniel. And it all started with one accidental knock on a bathroom door.